Hi, and welcome back to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Just a few days ago, I had mentioned to you that I would be back today to share with you another idea using this, one of the craft pillow boxes. Now, I'm not going to be using it exactly like this. I'm going to be creating it with a handle in it. Here's a quick look at what we're going to be creating together today. Make sure you hang with me to the end of the video because I have an additional sample to share with you that's not Christmas. If you missed the video on the prior idea using these pillow boxes, you're going to want to go back to December 6th to see that idea. I'll make sure that I link it down in the video description below. And if this is your first time visiting my YouTube channel, I would love to have you subscribe. Click the subscribe button down below and make sure you click that small bell icon that's next to it. That will ensure you receive notifications when I'm live here on YouTube, as well as when I upload a new video. Let's head over to the stamp table and let's get started on today's project. Here's a good close-up of that project we're going to be creating together. Isn't this adorable? All right, let's get started. The first thing we're going to do with the pillow box is we're going to create an opening for the handle. I'm using the layering ovals dies, and you can see there's graduated sizes. In addition to the oval shapes, it also includes scalloped ovals and layering sizes as well. I went ahead and I pulled out the smallest die from that packet, which is here. And I'm going to position this on the pillow box here near the top. It's going to cut the inside circumference. So I'm about 1 inch from here to the top of the box. Now I want to give you a tip about this when you go to die cut it. Once you have the die positioned where you want it, go ahead and use a Post-it note or even a Post-it flag to anchor that down right across the die. That's going to ensure that it doesn't shift when you place it through your die cutting machine. When we remove the die, it's going to end up with an opening through both the front and the back of the box. Now I'm going to recommend that you keep it flat while you decorate it and then we can assemble it. I'm using a piece of scrap Very Vanilla cardstock here, and I'm using this adorable star wreath image from the stamp set called Making Christmas Bright. You'll find this in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. I really love the different light bulbs and the greetings, and this is the image I've pulled out. The great thing about the stamp set is it also has a coordinating light bulb punch, which we'll be using today as well. I'm going to use real red ink for this image, and I'll go ahead and I'll ink that up. I'm going to stamp that here down in the corner just to maximize my scraps. I'm going to be stamping a greeting inside this circle, and I'm going to be using the crumb cake ink, which closely resembles the color of this box. From the same stamp set, I've pulled out a greeting that says, May Christmas Be, and I'm going to ink that up in the crumb cake ink. I'm going to stamp that here near the top of my circle. I'm going to go back to my real red ink pad now, and from that same stamp set again, I've got the word bright, and that's going to complete the phrase inside this circle. I'm going to be using the 2 1/4 inch circle punch to punch that out. That's going to make this really quick and easy. We're going to set that aside and we're going to continue to work on this scrap. And this is where I'm going to create my light bulb. I'll be using the crushed curry ink for the light bulb itself. And I've pulled out the image of the light bulb with the star inside. So we'll go ahead and ink that up and I'll stamp that here near the bottom. I'm also going to be using my black Memento ink pad for the light bulb base, and I've mounted that image here, and I'll stamp that next to it. Using the light bulb builder punch, I'm going to go ahead and punch out the top half of my light bulb, leaving a small circumference of that paper all the way around. You'll also notice here at the base of the light bulb that it leaves an area for you to attach the base. Using that same punch, I'm going to come up and I'm going to center it on that bottom image, and we'll punch that out as well. I'll be using a glue dot to attach the base. I love to use my Take Your Pick tool because it makes it really easy to pick up these small pieces. I've placed it here on top of a glue dot, and I'll use my paper piercing tool attachment on my Take Your Pick tool to lift it off, and that's going to get attached here in that negative area just underneath the light bulb. The next step is to add a little bit of curvature to this. Because the box itself has a curve to it, I found that it rests on it a little bit better if I create a similar type curve. So I'm going to be using my bone folder for that. And very much like you would curling ribbon, I'm going to come up at the halfway point and I'm very lightly going to curl. You don't need a whole lot, just enough to kind of break down a few of the fibers. And that's going to give us a nice curve. I've got my light bulb here and I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to add a dimensional to the back side. With my paper piercing tool attachment, once again, I've removed that paper backing and I'm going to attach my light bulb here next to the word bright. I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon behind here to add some additional color. This real red cotton ribbon coordinates beautifully with the ink, and that's the one thing about Stampin' Up! Products I love is the color coordination. I'm going to create a zigzag pattern with the ribbon. So I'm going to extend a little bit of ribbon on each side, and I'm going to pinch it and fold, and then I'll go back the other way. I'm going to flip this over, and the absolute easiest way is to use a piece of household tape. You can certainly use glue dots and adhesive. You'll need quite a bit since we're going to have to cover that whole thing, but I'm just going to tack that in place. From the front side, I'm going to go ahead and grab my scissors and I'll trim up this excess on this end. I'm then going to turn the image over. I've got 2 additional dimensionals here, and I'm going to mount them at the top and the bottom. I don't want them to rest on the ribbon because I don't want it to wobble. And again, we'll take off those paper backings using that paper piercing tool attachment. You'll notice that the box has a notch here at the top and the bottom. The reason for the notches is so that the receiver can easily open up the box to empty it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the box. It is already scored. You're just going to want to feel from the inside in order to crease on it. And then I'll do the same thing on this side. I find that the bottom does not open up, but if you want to, you certainly can secure it with glue dots or even with liquid glue. Leaving this notch to the back side, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my image here in the center of my box. I decided I wanted to add a little bit of an embellishment to this, so I've pulled out the Toile Tidings glitter enamel dots, and you're going to see there's a variation of sizes here. They already have glue dots on the back, which makes them very easy to use. I'm going to choose one of the medium sizes here. I'm going to pick that up with my tool and I'll place that here near the top. I'm going to take a smaller one and I'll place that here underneath the handle. And then lastly, I'll take another medium size one. I'm going to place that here near the bottom. Now let's talk about filling the box. During the holidays, I love to give small candy favors because they're inexpensive and you can make quite a few of them. So I'm going to put in several of my favorite Hershey's Nugget chocolates. I find 4 fit very, very nicely inside. The handle is going to be a great way for you to present the gift, but it's also going to allow you to cinch the top close. And let me show you how I did that. I cut a piece of about 8 inches of burlap ribbon, and you might be looking at that saying, well, there's not much ribbon on there. And the reason is that these little strands can be individually pulled out. And I absolutely loved to use these when I'm cinching closed boxes or even when I want a more rustic look to my bow. So I'm going to wrap this through the handle, and that notch here on the top back is actually going to do a wonder for us because it's going to help hold that ribbon in place. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that with a single tie, and then we'll go ahead and make a bow. Really quick and really easy. Now I promised you one other. This one uses the Above the Clouds bundle. That's the stamp set and the coordinating hot balloon punch that created this. Very similar to how this punch works, there are multiple pieces. I use the same die, same box, just a little bit different ribbon and a different layout. Of course, you can fill these with small party favors if you're going to do a birthday theme, or even a small gift if it's going to be for a wedding or a shower favor. The ideas for filling these are endless. You'll be able to find all these products in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. And there's also a holiday catalog available right now. And if you're interested in receiving complimentary copies of either of those, head over to lisasstampstudio.com and click on Contact Me. I would love to know which of these is your favorite. Would you leave me a comment below? Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to having you with me next time. Have a great day.